All right, welcome everyone to tonight's asset protection webinar. As most of you know, this is a series that's been going on for a very long time, probably over 15 years, at least 10 years in our name under the Protect Wealth Academy. And if you're new to us tonight, usually 2 or 3 times a month, we've had speakers on, and we've got a lot of them saved on YouTube. And so if you'd like to, go to YouTube, hit Protect Wealth Academy, and like us or connect with us. Is that what it is? What is it, Kendall? What do they have to do? So, one of those.
Like you, Don. I think everybody likes you already.
No, no. Oh, is it connect on? I don't know.
Yeah, so like us on Facebook. So if you go to Protect Wealth Academy on Facebook, and then just like.
Oh, on YouTube, you subscribe. That's it.
Subscribe. Okay. Facebook.
Okay. So YouTube, there a lot of these webinars will continue to be on there. And so many different types of topics, and we've got some great webinars coming up. So pay attention to those. And then we've got a new series that we started here about 3 months ago. Just tax tips. And we're always given every week or so, we've got new tax tips that come out. So pay attention to those. We have a lot of fun. I think we've got 3 or 4 more coming that I was writing last night. And so, I don't know, we just have a little fun with those. On that, you would connect with us or like us on Facebook, and you'd have access to all those. And then we've got 2 summits coming up. There'll actually be 3 this fall, but one in September and October. We're taking registrations for both of those right now. That is our big event where we're bringing in some of the best speakers in the nation on wealth creation, on asset protection, on estate planning, on income tax reduction. So hope you can join us for one of those. That is our premier event. We've been running it for over 20 years, since the late 90s, almost 25 years now. So the theme of the class is a lifetime to accumulate, 3 days to protect. Give us 3 days and we're really good about getting you where you need to go. Okay, before we talk anything, we don't give legal advice on this platform. We can't give tax advice. We can't give investment. We cannot give investment advice. We can teach you correct principles and then meet with professionals, see if those principles apply to you and your life and in your situation, with your family, with your state, with your background, all that. I don't know, whatever, but you get the idea. I'm so excited, Isabelle, to have you here. Isabelle has been a friend for a very long time. I knew her dad for probably 15 years before this. And we traveled together. We did cruises with students. We spoke on the same platform multiple dozens of times. And I've had a chance to go down in Arizona multiple times, several dozen times probably, and visit with their students, sit down with them. There's no better opportunity, I think, in the real estate community that's niche. If you've got a heart for people and want to take care of them and just kind of love them, and even the people that don't, there's opportunities in real estate, just owning the house. There's opportunities in niche markets that are very unique, and this one is growing like gangbusters. We're excited to have Isabelle here. She's multifaceted, but very experienced in being able to teach this. Isabelle, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Take it away, and you've got a great crowd. We had a great summit last week, and we had some incredible students. So I'm excited for you.
Yes, I am glad I got to pop on, and what an amazing turnout tonight. So thank you everybody for coming and coming to listen and hang out, and Dawn for that amazing intro. Always good to see you and get to catch up a little bit. Awesome. Okay. Can everybody see the screen? Looks good. Love it. All right. Today, we're going to be sharing all about how to start, own, and operate your very own residential assisted living home. So I hope you're on the right webinar. That's what we'll be talking about, how to create purpose, security, and wealth in your own life. As Dawn shared earlier, my dad is the founder of our business, of our company. He's the reason I got into this business, and he passed away in 2021. My family was kind of left with the, obstacle of what do we do? How do we push forward? At that point, we had trained thousands of people how to start, own, and operate these homes. We were owning and operating these cash flowing businesses, and we wanted to keep it going, but we didn't know what to do. And we were faced with that, big decision in that moment. And my family really decided, okay, it's time to push forward. It's time to make it happen. So I had been working behind the scenes with my dad for the previous, 7, almost 8 years, building all of these companies. The one we're here to focus on today is the RAL Academy. We currently own and operate those same residential assisted living homes. They've now transferred over to me and my siblings. And I think that that's such an amazing thing. I hope that I can inspire some of you who have kids to set up cash flowing businesses that are not messy, that are hands off, so that they can go from one generation to the next, not leaving burdens, but blessings. So why is right now the best timing for senior housing? It sure doesn't feel like good timing for a whole lot of things, right? Every time we turn on the news, there's something dramatic going on, whether the banks are going to start using crypto, Russia and China are best friends now. I mean, I don't know what's happening. Are we living in the metaverse, in the next week? I'm not sure. But the baby boomers have been driving our economy for the last 70 years. That's something I am sure of. They are the trend setters when it comes to our economy. What they need, what they purchase is where the money goes. You guys, the world looked very different in 1950 versus what it's projected to look like in 2050 or 2060. The chart used to be triangular and now it's rectangular. That 85 plus demographic is the fastest growing demographic on planet Earth today, and we can't stop it. Right now, the baby boomers are not in assisted living. Okay. So if you are a baby boomer and you're like, hey, I'm not old enough for that yet. I know. Don't crucify me. This silent generation is who's living in assisted living. There's 47 million of them. But look at that big green wall. World War II, people had fun and then they had fun again. I mean, most of the families back then had more than one child in them. Both my parents had 6 siblings, total of 7 kids in each of their families. The baby boomers, there's 76 million of them. Timing has never been better, you guys. What we're talking about with residential assisted living is very different, right? It's not that commercial big box building that you may be traditionally used to thinking of when you think of the word assisted living. We're disrupting the senior housing industry, kind of like what Uber did to taxi or what Airbnbs did to hotels. We're saying, hey, there's something different, there's something better, and just take a look inside. And when you do, you're never going to turn back. So what's going to change this year? COVID changed a lot. We're on Zoom right now instead of being in person. And like we talked about, inflation, recession, interest rates, politics, I don't know. We can drive ourselves crazy thinking about that. I like to focus on what's not going to change, because no matter what the economy looks like, when a senior in your life needs care and assistance, they need it, and they need it now. It doesn't matter what the interest rates are, or that inflation's at an all-time high. If they need love, care, and assistance, it's kind of a non-negotiable for most people, right? I hope for everyone on this call, I hope you guys have your hearts in the right place. But when mom or dad need care, you guys know this situation, it's quick, right? For us, our journey began with a phone call. My grandmother fell and broke her hip, and the doctor called and said, hey, she can't go home alone. Who's coming to take care of her? Who's coming to live with her 24/7? My whole family was faced with this situation. And some of you listening right now, you've had the exact same scenario happen to you and a loved one. where overnight you have to make a decision. Okay, do we put them, at in-home care where we have a caregiver come to take care of them 24/7? Does one of us quit our job and go live with her and take care of her 24/7? Or do we put her into a home? And as soon as you say it, you feel like icky. You feel like, I promised I wouldn't, right? That's exactly what happened to my family with my beloved grandmother, Marie. And she's the whole reason we're in this industry, because when we were looking for a place for her to live and to get quality care, you guys, I was disgusted by the average options. The food, the smell, the care. Oof. I didn't want to leave my goldfish, let alone my beloved grandmother there. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because of her situation, we vowed to find another option. She was living in upstate New York at the time, and we went back to Arizona where we were living to search for something better. We stumbled into residential assisted living and never looked back. Purchased our first real estate and business and started cash flowing with the intent to move her in. She passed before we could, but while we were doing this, we fell in love with an industry we never even knew existed. My dad always used to say, I guarantee you're going to get involved in senior housing one way or the other. The reality is, guys, we're all going to be lying in a bed or writing the check for someone who is, or you could be owning the real estate or owning the business, or both. The choice is up to you. Tonight, I'm going to share with you the 5 keys to success in residential assisted living, and you'll also learn how to become a preferred real estate provider. For everyone on the line who's a more passive investor, this will be the part that's for you. So listen up when we get there. Who am I and why should you listen to me? Dawn gave me a beautiful introduction. I was named top senior housing influencer. My family owns and operates 3 care homes. I'm the lead educator at RAL Academy. I built 8 companies over the last 7 years. I'm the author of Living Legacy and the host of the Young Boss podcast. I'm blessed to have been able to do most of this by my father's side. He was a legend, known as the godfather of assisted living. He was featured in magazines, newspapers, TV programs, hundreds of podcasts, books. But what meant the most to me was when Robert Kiyosaki pointed at him from across the room and said, hey, that's the RAL guy. He said, come over here, tell me everything. And they became fast friends on the Real Estate Guys radio show cruise. I mean, we all know the little purple book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, Robert saw that senior housing was one amazing way to invest, be hands off, and start cash flowing. And that's what he's all about, right? Not having to work for your dollars, but having your dollars work for you. And he invested over $100 million in a big box facility down the road from me in Scottsdale, Arizona. You guys, his book's about getting out of the rat race and having his, money work while he doesn't have to do the work. And that's what he saw in this and learned from us. And now he's doing it on his own. But you do not have to invest $100 million. That's how Robert likes to play, and let him play in his own sandbox. This is about you tonight. How much do you need every month to cover your monthly personal expenses? You don't have to write me in the chat. I know it's a personal number, but think about it. The house, the car, the kids, the food, the fun. I mean, all in. If you had a check coming in every single month and it had this dollar amount written on it, you could take a deep breath, spend time with who you want, donate to what you want, buy what you want, spend what you want, save what you want, you name it. Okay, I'm blessed to talk about this topic all across the country, and sometimes to live audiences, sometimes virtual like this one tonight. But the number one response I do get is $10,000. And listen, if your number is more than this, that's a-okay, because just one residential assisted living home can get us to that number. So if you need more, 2 times, 3 times, we're talking about 1, 2, or 3 properties. That is it. Not hundreds of doors, not thousands of units, not a bunch of tenants and toilets. I mean, you name it. This is simple. 1, 2, or 3 properties to get you to your freedom number. But why residential assisted living? Well, maybe you're starting to see what I'm seeing, the demographics, the unstoppable silver tsunami of seniors, a 20-year wave that's starting right now. And you're starting to realize the inevitability of it all. You're going to get involved one way or another, but right now you have the choice. You see, we're not the only ones getting involved. Meg the Stallion just went back to Texas Southern University to learn how to open an assisted living facility. Why is a rapper getting involved in senior housing? You tell me. Tracy Tudor from Bravo's $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, she came to our national convention last year because she is starting to invest in these. She said, I want to come learn from the best of the best, be surrounded by people who are in this industry, who are making a difference. Tyler Perry launched a TV show called Assisted Living. He's bringing it to mainstream media. Jonathan Goldsmith, he's also a guest of our national convention events that we throw every year, and he invests in these homes. Jimmy Buffett, he's opening Margaritaville themed retirement communities. You guys, I'm not the biggest fan, but heck yeah, I want to go live in paradise with Jimmy. I don't know about you, but sipping margaritas all day, sign me up. Oh, yes. When we talk about the different options for single family home investing, obviously you can do a fix and flip. You buy a home, you renovate it, you sell it, and you make that money one time, maybe 20 to 100K. But as soon as you sell it, you're out of the job. You've got to go get another one and do it again, and another one and do it again. And this isn't cash flow. It sure looks like a rat race to me. It's more like cash now. Now, single family rentals, that is cash flow, but at a couple $100 a month, how many doors are you going to need to get to your freedom number? Probably a lot. And each door comes with tenants, toilets, potentially unpaid rent, and drama. And if something happens, a lot of that cash flow goes out the window. It could be challenging, we'll say that. Now, group homes, for those of you who have a heart for clean, sober recovery needs, developmentally disabled adults, battered women, foster kids who've aged out of the system, whatever the case may be, group homes are an excellent way to serve an underserved population and cash flow $1,000 a month or more. Now, Airbnbs, if you follow me on social media, you probably think I hate Airbnbs, okay? Because I'm always kind of teasing on them, but I don't hate them. They are a good investment, kind of. You could be making $2,000 a month or more on those homes, but there are so many rules and regulations being put into these cities like Vegas and Atlanta and Honolulu and San Diego, where basically they're trying to make it impossible for the owners to cash flow like this. So it just kind of stresses me out. Also, with the economy, right, where people are spending less, saving more, they're probably not going on that luxury vacation that they used to be back, a couple of years ago. Not to mention Marriott's coming in, buying up entire neighborhoods, turning them into Airbnbs. And you better believe they've got more money, power, and resources than the solopreneur like you or I. I mean, I'm not sure it's the safest place to invest, but yes, it is higher cash flow. Owning and operating a residential assisted living home should be cash flowing you 10 grand a month on the low end or more. So if I had one single family home and I had to decide what to do with it, for me, it makes a whole lot of sense to choose RAL. But Proverbs says he who doesn't look ahead remains behind. And if you're not religious, Wayne Gretzky says, I like to skate where the puck is going, not where it has been. It's the same concept, you guys. We have to look ahead. You guys, the silver tsunami is either going to be one of the biggest crises that our nation, our world, your family has ever faced, or this is one of the biggest opportunities that's ever fallen into your lap. But it's all about what you choose to do. I know I mentioned that with my grandmother, one of the options was in-home care. And many of you may have promised your loved ones, don't worry, you can stay at home. I'll get you a one-on-one caregiver who comes to care for you 24/7. Well, if your loved one needs 24/7 care, the national average right now is $27 an hour. $27 times 24 hours in a day times 30 days in a month. That's $19,000 a month. Plus the mortgage or lease, the activities, the medication, the food, the this, the that. I mean, you name it. We're talking $20,000, $25,000 a month to keep your loved one in their home. Now, most Americans cannot afford that. And so the average cost of assisted living in our nation right now is $4,500 per month per person. Now, this is a lot more reasonable when we're comparing all the different options. It's kind of like a kid, right? And daycare and having a nanny at home. You can split the cost with daycare because the ratios. But what is residential assisted living? It's a group home for seniors that provides assistance with the residents' ADLs, activities of daily living. Pretty much think everything that we did from the moment we got up out of bed to the moment we go to bed at night. Getting out of bed, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, taking medication, eating, going to the bathroom, showering, moving, all those different things are what seniors need help with at this point. Typically 3 to 5 of them. So it's no longer safe for them to live alone. It is not a Brookdale, a Sunrise, an Atrium, a big commercial facility that you may drive by with a big sign that says, senior housing or assisted living. This is not what we do, okay? But it's also not the opposite end of the spectrum for mature women living in a home who need minor help with landscaping or changing a light bulb. This is more independent living, that Golden Girl style where they don't need a lot of help. What we're talking about is residential assisted living, where these seniors are living in a single family home in a regular neighborhood, usually a nice neighborhood with appreciating assets in a good part of town, typically single level, but you can do it with multiple level homes. All my East Coasters, take a deep breath. You're okay. You're going to add in a chairlift or an elevator to make it work. Single level is always preferred, but if you can do it with multiple levels, you could just add in the chairlift, add in the elevator, you make it work all day. Inside the homes, the floors are smooth and clean. The furniture is age appropriate. The home is open and beautiful, and it looks like a home because it is a home. In the bedrooms, there's beds and dressers, nightstands and tables, just like you or I may have in our own bedrooms. And the bathrooms, they're senior safe. They've got ramps and guardrails, things to help the seniors stay safe in their last years of life. You guys, who's living in the home? None other than our adorable seniors just living out their golden years. And I love this photo because look at the caregiver sitting and enjoying with the residents. For those of you who do have a loved one in a big box, you've probably never seen a scenario like this. And I'm not saying that because their caregivers are bad and ours are good. I'm saying that because of the reality of the situation. In a big facility, the ratios are typically 20 seniors or 30 seniors to one caregiver. In our homes, it's a 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio. Let's be real. One person cannot care for 20 people, let alone 30. It's cruel. It's cruel and it's wrong. And the system is set up to fail them. So when you take a caregiver who's working in a big box facility and invite them to work in your luxury home where they're getting paid the same, but literally have a quarter of the amount of work because of less seniors, they are so loyal. They are so excited to come work for you because they're like, this is a piece of cake. Like, I'll be here all day. We love to love on the seniors and celebrate with them. We celebrate hard in the home, whether it's 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Easter, Mardi Gras, birthdays, you name it, we're partying because they deserve the best of the best in their last years of life. You guys, our company motto is to do good and do well because there are a million ways you can make money, and residential assisted living is one of them. But this isn't just about making money. If that's why you're here, I actually encourage you to leave because this is not a get rich quick. This is not a, we can do it overnight and there's not going to be any issues. It's going to be super easy. I'll be the first to tell you that there's a lot of obstacles in this, but that do good, do well. If you're looking for an investment that not only cash flows you a lot, but really makes an impact, really changes people's lives, then this may be something you want to consider because this is that equal balance of both of them. It can't be all heart, but it can't be all money, money, money. We need that balance, okay? I hope you're still with me. For those of you who are landlords, and I don't know how many on here do own real estate and are in the landlording business, I know that the energy that your tenants give you is not always the best. But in residential assisted living, you guys, we're receiving love letters, text messages, flowers, hugs, balloons, cards all day long, wrapped it, with a $6,000 check in the middle. The families are grateful. They thank you. They appreciate you for the work that you're doing because you're giving their loved one the love and care that they so wish that they could, right? And this is that opportunity to kind of give back in that way. But what do you really want in life? Do you want to feel good about your investments and be proud of the work you do? Do you want to have enough income to live the life you've always dreamed of, to have appreciating assets and leave a true legacy for your family to carry on? When we talk about what everybody else is doing in real estate, if we were in a big room, I'd have us all raise our hands so you guys could look around and see, but I'd say, who's doing wholesale, right? And we'd raise our hand and look around and see, okay, fix and flip, and we'll go through the whole list. And then I'll say, who's doing residential assisted living? And probably maybe one or two of you would raise your hands along with me. You guys, there is much less competition in this business. And there's a reason for that. Because there's hoops to jump through, there's things to work through, and it's not the easiest thing. You do have to get licensed. Ooh, scary, the government. It's okay. We show you how to do that in our training. But it's so important for you to know this, that there's a reason why there's no HGTV show about this. There's a reason why not 1 million 18-year-olds are just jumping in the industry, ruining it for the rest of us, right? It's difficult and it takes some grit. And so if that's you, I hope that this is speaking to you, because the facts and statistics are there's 76 million baby boomers, 10,000 people a day turning 65, 4,000 people a day turning 85. 90% of seniors want to stay in their own home, but 70% will need daily care for an average of 3.5 years. My crystal ball says they're going to need home and assistance, and we have the opportunity to provide it. Harry S. Dent, the New York Times best-selling author of The Demographic Cliff, said the opportunity of our lifetimes in real estate development and investing is likely to be nursing homes and assisted living facilities. He was at our national convention in 2019, and I want you to hear what he had to say.
So what Jane's in charge of is this organization called Residential Assisted Living. In your opinion, is that the best real estate play to be in?
It is, because I always tell people, because the baby boom was so large, everything they do as they age is the best sector. People say millennials, there's more millennials. Both, they're not as big a wave. They're a fraction of the wave. So what assisted living and nursing homes do, they play the last stage of the baby boomers, the largest generation in history, and nobody sees it coming. Nobody.
Oh, we do.
You do. Nobody sees. I bring this up and people say, Harry, what are you smoking? There's the baby boomers already retired. They're already in assisted living. No, they're just starting.
Yeah.
In 2018.
Oh, yeah.
They got 26, 28 years of nonstop growth.
Yeah.
Nothing will grow faster and nobody will see it coming.
Pretty cool to see them sitting around talking about that. You've got Harry S. Dent, Robert Kiyosaki, my father, the late Gene Guarino. You may recognize Jonathan Goldsmith, and then Brad Upton. He's from Comedy Central. Absolutely hilarious, clean comedian. So if you are ever looking for someone funny to watch, check him out. But this is at our national convention in 2019, where we have industry leaders from all across, the industry come. And this is at the Cigars and Stars part, where they kind of get to chat and hang out with a bunch of other people who are there at the event. So right about now, I'm sure some misconceptions are popping up in your head. Like, am I going to have to work from home? And the answer is no. I do not work in my homes, and that's not what you have to do at all. In our training, we show you how to do this hands-off so that you could passively operate these homes. You are going to have to hire the appropriate licensed staff who will be hands-on in the home, the licensed administrator and the licensed caregivers, so that they are doing that day-to-day care of the residents, helping with the families, the cooking, the cleaning, you name it. But you are the owner of the real estate and the business. And so you do not have to live, eat, sleep, work in the home at all. Actually, 31% of care home owners are remote owners. They own a home in another state. And we'll show you how to do that in our training if you're interested in that. The liability, is it going to be through the roof? No, it's about $1 or $2 per day per resident. With 10 residents, that's $300 to $600 a month. It's a line item, nothing to be afraid of, but definitely something you're going to want to have. In our training at the end, we give you documents and information on different companies that you'll want to call as you're getting your business up and running. And liability insurance agencies are one of them, and we'll connect you with some great ones. You can't find good employees these days. Ooh, these are fighting words. For me, We don't have an issue with this, you guys. Caregivers is a high turnover industry, and a lot of other people are having a very hard time finding, training, and retaining them, but not for us and our students, because we focus on employee first. It is so important that they know that they're loved and appreciated for the work that they're doing. You guys know that during the Great Resignation over the last couple of years, when surveyed, 70% of people said they did not leave their job for more money. They left because they didn't feel appreciated. Boom. That tells you the problem right there. I don't think we have an employee problem. I think we have an employer problem. People are not taking the time to be kind, to be respectful, to be thankful and grateful for the people who are working for them. You know how far a thank you goes? You know how far a Starbucks gift card goes? All those little things that we talk about in our training really, really can help you with your employee retention. Like Deidre, one of our students, her home in Connecticut, she's had it open for 2 years. And in 2 years, not one of her employees has left. That's what I want to show you how to do. Now, do you need medical experience? The reality is you don't, because you are not working in the home. But if you are a doctor or a nurse, this is a major feather in your cap. And I want to show you how to use this to your advantage. So if you are on the line, I'll talk about that more. But if you're not, do not worry. It's not something that you need. And HOA won't let me do this. Well, that's just not true. Because of the Federal Fair Housing Act, it's discriminatory against disabled people to say that you can't have a home in that neighborhood, because when you need help with 3 to 5 ADLs, you're considered disabled. And so we're dealing with a protected class. Now, I'm not saying an angry neighbor, an HOA, a city, state, county might try to tell you no. They might. But you will call the RAL National Association and they will protect you with the Federal Fair Housing Act. We've got lawyers there who will help you work through any of those issues. Seniors can't afford this. Well, it's also not true, and I'm going to show you exactly how they do. At the end of the day, this is just a single family home being used as a real estate investment, as a real estate opportunity. So what are the 3 smartest options for you to participate in RAL? Well, first, you could own the real estate and lease it to an operator. I know Don mentioned this earlier. He said, hey, you could just own the real estate and not even own the business. We call this being a preferred real estate provider. So all of my passive peeps, listen up. You could be getting twice the fair market rent. What I mean by that is if you've taken a home, you've retrofitted it, got it ready to go for assisted living, added more bedrooms and bathrooms and ramps and guardrails, sprinkler systems, whatever the case, whatever you need, someone is willing to pay for the work that you've done. And they might be willing to pay twice the fair market rent. On some of our properties that we lease out to operators, that's exactly what we get because of the work we've put in up front. They're a long-term, low-impact tenant that requires little or no maintenance. What I mean by long-term is this is not a family signing a 1 or 2 year lease agreement with you. This is a business who's trying to build a brand, build a reputation, really plant roots. They're going to want to sign a 3, 5, 8, or 10-year contract with you. Talk about no vacancies, no turnover for you. Ooh la la, bingo, bingo, bingo. When we say low impact or little or no maintenance, there's no teenagers punching holes in the wall. There's no pit bulls being bred in the dining room or motorcycles being dissected in the living room. No. The worst thing that happens is Grammy's chair goes back 1 too many times and there's a little hole in the wall to patch up, you guys. The home is being kept pristine and clean at all times because we're doing tours to the new residents and their families, and we want to make sure that the home is, perfection every time. And little or no maintenance, depending on how you set up the contract, you might not be in charge of the maintenance at all. That's what I suggest. When we go through the training, I show you how to set that up. The second option for you to participate is to own the real estate and operate the RAL business. This is what a lot of our students choose to do because you control I'm sorry, I should go back to this as I'm talking about it. You control the business. And so you're making the most money, and really, you are kind of running it all. So when you just own the real estate, right? What if the business isn't doing well? Well, that's something you have to think about. But when you own and operate both, you can make the most money and you control it all. When I go through the numbers in just a moment, this will be the category I'm referring to, category number 2. Okay. The third option for you, you're at a Protect Wealth event, so I'm assuming you have some wealth. You could be a JV lender or a private lender or a JV partner, a joint venture partner. You could invest in someone who's going to do this, right? So you don't own the real estate, you don't own the business, but you're going to give your money to someone who's going to give you a return, and this is what they're doing. That's another great way to get involved. So how much money can you make? Woo, show me the money, honey. Well, first, we've got to learn how much assisted living costs in your area. We know the national average is $4,500 per month per person, but what about where you live? Well, this website, I need an affiliate link because I send way too much traffic to them. genworth.com/cost of care. You guys screenshot this one, jot it down, write it down, whatever you need to do. This website, I highly suggest that you go there, okay? This is your homework tonight. Now, when you go there, you're going to type in the area where you live or where you're thinking about doing your assisted living home or whatever the case, and it's going to show you the average cost of care in your area. But the reason I love this website is there's a toggle button, because my mom's not going to need assisted living for another 25 years. So I can bump it up 25 years and see how much the cost of care is going to be in that time frame. Now, you guys, the cost of care has gone up 79% over the last 10 years. Do we think it's going to keep going up when we're currently 1.3 million beds short and the baby boomers haven't even hit the shore yet? Oh, you better believe it. So what are the most expensive states in our country for assisted living? Well, DC is not a state, but they're printing money over there. They're at the tippy top with average rates of $6,978. Then Alaska, $6,830. We've got Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Washington, Delaware, Maine, Hawaii, and Connecticut, rounding out our top 10 at $5,129. Remember, these are average rates. And I said I didn't even want to leave my goldfish, let alone my grandmother, in an average home. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't either. So we like to focus on above average rates. Now, every state is listed on there. So you can go to that site, genworth.com/cost of care, and find out the cost in your area. But let's just use Connecticut right now. I want to talk about like the state difference versus the city differences. So the state is $5,129. But Bridgeport's average is $6,273. Hartford's $5,225, New Haven $5,088, and Norwich $4,300. Now, this does not mean if you love mom, you move her to Bridgeport, and if mom didn't love you, you move her to Norwich. No, okay? If you live in New Haven, mom's probably coming to New Haven. That's where you live. And if you're choosing the care and oftentimes paying for the care, then you're going to move mom or dad close to you, daughter Judy, son Bob, as we call the adult children who make those decisions. But what if you had one RAL home providing you an additional $10,000 each month? Would you be more confident and secure knowing you could pay your bills easily and stay in control financially? Would you be more comfortable knowing you could provide a home for your own loved ones if they ever needed assistance? Or would you be more fulfilled knowing you're making a difference and leaving a mark on this world? I know for me, it's like tick, tick, tick. Now, let's get into the numbers. Let's use average numbers because we said $4,500 per month is the national average, and we'll times it by 10 licensed beds. Now, depending on where you live in the country, you're going to be allowed to have somewhere between 6 and 16 residents in the home. Now, I'm going to use 10 for easy math, but based on where you live, your number is going to fall somewhere between 6 and 16. That would be bringing us in $45,000 of monthly gross income. But of course, there's overhead. In our training, we go through each of these categories and I show you a high end and a low end in the online training, because you need to understand where these numbers should be falling and what you should be paying for all of them. But for the sake of me going through this as fast as I can today on this webinar, we're going to focus on the two numbers at bottom, 20,000 versus 30,000. 20,000 is if you plan to be the candlestick maker, the cook, and the baker. You're going to live in the home, work in the home, work with the seniors, do all the tours. You're going to do it all. That's not what we do. And it's not what I show you how to do, you guys. I want you to pay for speed. I want you to pay to hire the appropriate licensed people to do the job that God called them to do. Okay. Stop taking away other people's jobs. Now, in that scenario, we're going to have to pay for the care and pay for the caregivers to come in. And so we'll use the $30,000 number for our expenses here. So let's bake that in right there. Now, debt service, in most parts of the country, you can probably get a pretty nice home still for $5,000 a month. Now, this is leaving us with $10,000 of monthly net income or $120,000 of annual net income on one average RAL home. Now, I told you already, I don't do average, and I don't think anybody here is an average Joe. Even if your name's Joe, you're not average, I promise. So let's look at what a nicer home could do. Maybe something a little bit better, in a better neighborhood, in a better part of town, maybe a bigger lot with more bedrooms, more bathrooms, whatever the case may be. Maybe we're charging $5,700 a month times 10 residents, bringing in $57,000. Our expenses stay the same because it's the same 10 residents. We haven't changed the amount of residents. It's the debt service that's going to increase. So we bumped it up to $7,000 a month. That's leaving us with $20,000 of monthly net income or $240,000 of annual net income. You guys, our students, Scott and Michelle, out in Metairie, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans, these are their numbers. Like, I did not stutter. I did say New Orleans. I did say Louisiana. Okay. You guys, if they can do it in Louisiana, you can do it where you live. I promise. But truly, this is happening all across the country. It's amazing to me when our students, when I get to meet them at the national convention after they did the online course, and they run up and they're like, guess what? We have 4 homes now, and each of them are cash flowing $10,000, $20,000, $15,000 a month. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I want to show you something even crazier. One of our students, Brian, he has a luxury 15-bed home. And for those of you who live in states like New Jersey, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Texas, Colorado, where you're allowed to have 16 or 15 residents, you may want to do a luxury home, right? So maybe you have 15 residents paying $7,000 a month, bringing you in $105,000 a monthly gross income. Your overhead is going to increase because you have 5 more residents. I need to pay for more care, more food, more electricity, more cable, more, you name it. But also, it's a luxury home. If they want lobster and cheesecake every night, they get it. If they want HBO and Netflix and Hulu, they get it, okay? Whatever they want, they can have. But our debt service to house 15 people, and mind you, most seniors do want private bedrooms, private bathrooms. This is going to be a huge home at 300 to 500 square feet per resident. Let's bake in $15,000 a month for this home. That's netting us $40,000 a month or $480,000 a year. Soak it in, okay? This is what our student Brian's getting out in New Jersey, and you could be getting it too, depending on where you live, if you're allowed to have 15 or 16 residents, but you can do a luxury home anywhere. You see, I don't just want to show you how to do this once. I want to show you how to have a 3-pack, 3 homes within 20 minutes of each other so that you can share your resources. Because, for a manager, it's not full time to oversee one home. Usually 2 to 4 homes is full time for them. And your caregivers, they're doing shift work. They may be working 10 or 12-hour shifts, kind of like a nurse. So 3 days on, 4 days off, or vice versa. And if they're doing that, you guys, they're not taking those other 3 or 4 days off. They're working at another home on those other days. So if you only have one home, then they're working at Joe Schmo's home down the road. But if you have multiple homes, they're working 3 or 4 days for you here, 3 or 4 days for you here. You're not paying overtime and they get to stay in the same work culture and environment. It's win-win-win. Let alone, I just want to be clear, like if you're going to do this, why not really do it? Why not jump all in, make it happen? So the 3-pack, I always want to encourage you to have more than one. And with those numbers, I mean, more than one, we're hitting that financial freedom number. We're exceeding that number. So let's jump into the 5 keys to success before I tell you about our online course and our national convention. I want to cover location, your team, clients, getting paid, and systems. And stick around because I do have a big discount for you guys. I know Dawn and Kendall approved something pretty big, and so I'm excited to be able to share that with you. But when it comes to location, y'all, it is not if you build it, they will come. No. We have to make sure it is in the prime location. We wouldn't be talking about real estate if we didn't talk about location. But when it comes to RAL, it's about density, demand, and demographics. Okay, we have to make sure that the area has enough people there who are going to need assisted living. So density, demand, how many beds already exist? How many facilities already exist? Are they full? Are they empty? Is there a waiting list? What's the demand? And then demographics. I'm looking for areas that have majority population of people who are 50 to 70 years old, who make twice the median income, who are homeowners. That's the demographic we're looking for. The daughter Judy's, the son Bob's, because they're choosing where mom or dad's going to go in assisted living. Now, if you think about it in the 5 levels, think about your part of town where you live, okay? We all know that area of town where like you're scared to drive at night, right? Or you got to bring your gun, or like ladies, you're not going alone. Okay. That's what we'll call a level 1. We do not want to put grandma in a level 1 area. If you're scared to go, she's scared to go. So don't freak her out. Level 1 is a no-go for assisted living, but you also don't need to go to the tippy top, the most luxurious part of town with manicured lawns and, a guard at the gate who says, who are you coming to see here? And when you knock on the door, right, it's somebody who doesn't even live there who answers. So we don't need to go to the nicest, but we don't want to be at the lowest. I want you to stay in the sweet spot, the level 3, 4. Financially, what that looks like is this. Using our national average numbers, if the assisted living homes in the area are charging less than $4,500 per month, then they're a below average home. That makes sense. So that's a level 1, level 2. That's not what we want to do. We want to focus on that sweet spot, the level 3, 4. Now, I know, level 5, ooh, that looks nice. I want 10 grand per resident. Sign me up. But here's the thing, you guys, look at the chart. It gets smaller at the top. Your opportunity zone shrinks because the person who can afford 10 grand a month, might they also be able to afford the in-home care? Maybe. So I want you to stay in the sweet spot, the level 3, 4. We taught this to Donald and to Linda, and they said, thank you to the RAL Academy. It's been amazing. The support we've received from you guys, we wouldn't have been able to make this journey without you. This is them at the National Convention. We always have so much fun with all of our students there. Their gorgeous 12-bed home is super successful. They focus on memory care, which is something we teach in our training. And the Foundations course is what got them started on their journey. It's these videos that help prep and prime you to get started before you even start your course. Now, number 2 is your team. You are not it. You have to build your team and repeat it to scale, okay? I know in other forms of real estate, you can DIY and you can be everything. You can be the landscaper and the contractor and the electrician, and that's not the case with RAL, okay? We have to hire the appropriate licensed staff. In your home, you'll have a licensed administrator. This is mine, Mariella, in the red and black top right there. She oversees all 3 of our homes. So I only have to visit maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. Honestly, I probably don't need to visit that much. They probably get like, get out of here, girlfriend, because I'm always like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But she controls it all. She literally runs everything for me, from hiring, firing, payroll, scheduling. Like someone no-shows, she's the one who gets the call, not me, right? I hear about it a week later when we're on our little monthly or weekly call. But The caregivers do the direct care to the residents. They're the ones who are doing all of the activities of daily living, helping with the seniors and the families and everything. So your team is going to be what helps you be able to scale, what helps you be able to be passive in this investment opportunity. Janelle and Ed out in Indiana and their gorgeous family, they said, I never thought I'd own an REL, but I had to make a plan for my husband and myself. We're now cash flowing like we never imagined, leaving a legacy for our children and having a lot of fun in the meantime. They custom built a 16-bed home from the ground up in Indiana, which is one of the 4 ways that we show you how to get started, ground up builds. Ed was a school teacher when they got started in this, and I'm so proud of them for all that they've accomplished. They've had 2 other kids since. I think they have 5 now. Isn't that crazy? Okay, clients is number 3, you guys. The resident is not your client. The kids are the key. Now, I've already mentioned their name a couple times, but if the resident's not your client, then who really is your client? It's daughter Judy, it's son Bob, it's the adult child who comes with mom or dad. They're the ones who usually say, okay, mom or dad, it is time. You need assisted living. You need more care. You need someone watching you. You need all this stuff. They usually search for the home. They usually tour the home. Sometimes they're paying for the home, and they usually choose the home. They're also the one who's going to be writing you that love letter if you're doing everything correct. So we want to make sure that we over communicate with them and we know how to market to them appropriately. Because if we target the 85-year-old, that's not who's searching online to find us. It's daughter Judy. Okay. Ogita and her family, they took the online home study course. They said, thank you to Rala. My family's opened 4 homes since we took your course. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you do the online course, we don't get to meet you in person. And so she had done this course, and then she ran up to my dad at the national convention, which is an event we host once a year. And she's like, gee, did it, 4 homes. And she's out in Florida, and we're so, so proud of her. So the online course is definitely what you need to get the ball rolling, get your feet under you so you can get started in this. I told you we were going to talk about how seniors pay for this. So I do want to talk about this. I don't want you to focus on Medicaid, okay? I want you to focus on private pay residents and maximize the long-term care insurance. So how are seniors paying for this? Where does the money come from? Some pay with Medicare. It pays out at about $1,800 a month, so it won't cover all of it, but that's how some seniors choose to, supplement or pay for some of their care. Some are subsidized by the VA. If the senior has served even 1 day in active duty, they may qualify for aid and attendance, it's called. And so the VA may be able to give them some help, some money towards their assisted living costs. Now, 10% of the population has LTC or long-term care insurance. If you have that, it's amazing. It will pay for most of your care needs, if not all of your care needs, by the time you need assisted living. Most seniors, though, they're using their cash, their IRAs, their investments, or they're selling their physical property and using that capital to pay for their care needs. Of course, there's my last category of seniors who say, I'm going to let my kids figure it out. And let me tell you, if you haven't had this conversation with the loved ones in your life, and it may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 4, it may be 6 or 8. I don't know your situation, right? How many moms and dads you have in your life who may be relying on you, but it might be time to have that conversation or consider opening a care home literally for your family. So you have a place when all these loved ones need assisted living that they could live for free, like we did for my grandmother, right? And then now my mom can live in it for free. I can live in it for free, and I can pass it to my future kids so that they have something. It's like a retirement plan, and it cash flows. Pretty cool. Walt, this is just an awesome story, you guys. Walt, when we met him, he was a legend in the biz. He'd been in the biz for over 15 years, and we had invited him to our training because we were like, you must know stuff that we don't know. So come teach us everything, like tell us what we're missing. And he said, actually, I learned how I was leaving over $15,000 a month on the table, over $2 million during those 15 years. I felt sick to my stomach, but grateful to find out too. You guys, he learned some tips and tricks that literally changed his business. So if you are on the line and you own one of these homes, or you have a friend or family member who owns one of these homes who's like, that's not the money that's in it, that's not what people make, tell them to do the training with you, invite them to come to the national convention with you, because there might be things left to learn. There might be things that could help them 10x their business. All right, our last one is systems. Systems save you time, energy, and money. If you want to be remote, you want to be hands off, you want to not have to work more than 5 hours a week on this, then systems are critical for success. When it comes to team building, we have systems that will help you identify, train, and retain the best of the best staff, so you don't have to be hands-on with all of that hiring, firing, retaining, everything you're dealing with there. Systems cover it all. Real estate, the location, acquisition, renovation. Some of you are pros at this already. And so it's just, what are those minor differences in RAL versus what you already do? When it comes to funding, I know a lot of people get worried about how they're going to raise the capital or find money to start on this venture. And the reality is, you do not have to use your own capital for this. As Robert Kiyosaki says, you're being lazy. And he yells, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you, but you know what I mean. You're being lazy if you're using your own money. Other people literally are looking for something to invest in. They're looking for something to get dollars back on. And you have an opportunity that they just want to hear from you about. But learning how to present yourself appropriately and the numbers is going to be key. Partners, maybe you have someone in your life who is a medical professional and you're the real estate guru, or vice versa. And this is something that you're like, finally, we can go in business together. We can do something together. If that's you, then this is amazing, because those systems will help you work with the correct partners and find the right partners. When it comes to operations, this is like the documents, the what ifs. You're going to need a lot of documents to get licensed through the state, from policies and procedures to emergency plans, menus, and schedules. All of those things will matter, and they're really important. So make sure that if you don't go through our training, you know you're going to have to come up with a ton of different documents so that you can get licensed. If you do go through the training, you'll know exactly what you need to do. Now, Carla Lee, one of our students, she took the course in February. She said, I had a business in July. I spoke with others in my area, and for many of them, it took years to get their doors open because they didn't have the support I had. She's out in New Mexico, and she opened 9 homes in less than 3 years, you guys. Absolutely amazing. I think she was like 25 years old when she came to our training. We've had people as young as 22 and as old as 72. There's never a right age to start. The right age is right now. You guys, Sean out in Houston, Texas, he did our online home study course, and he said, I opened my first home just a couple months after finishing the course. My 3rd home's up and running, and I'm working on my 4th. Hallelujah. I quit my corporate job and I got the Maserati I've always dreamed of. For some of you, it is about something, a boat, a house, a car. And for others of you, it's about a loved one. It's about finding a place for them. I don't really care what you're going to do with the money. What I care is that your heart's in the right place and that the message of doing good and doing well means something to you. When Sean got started, we gave him the profitability calculator, which is a really cool tool where you can plug and play and see the numbers and get out different projections so you can know if a deal is good or bad, if you should stay with it, if you should go from it. And that tool can really help you succeed when you're looking at deals. Mark and Jessica, a father-daughter team, just like me and my dad were. They said, we took the course. We now have 2 homes up and running. Thank you for the support, resources, and encouragement along the way. Something that we gave them that really helped them stay on track was the roadmap to success. It's a step-by-step plan that literally shows you what step to take first and then next and then next, so you don't get overwhelmed with everything that there is to do. I can keep going through success story after success story, but the real question is, will you be the next success story? You see, at this point, you've got 3 options. 1, you can have a Men in Black moment. Flash. Forget everything we talked about. Keep doing what you're doing, and I wish you the best of luck. Number 2, you can say, I don't need you. I'm going to YouTube University, and I'm going to figure it out on my own. I wish you the best of luck for real. 3, you can say, I want to work with you. I want to hire you, and let's build the life of your dreams. Okay. I want you to choose number 3, but it's all up to you. The ball is in your court, you guys. Today, we got to talk about the 5 keys to success in residential assisted living, as well as how you can do the 3 options to participate. One of them being a preferred real estate provider, that more passive option. We talked about how you can make $10,000, $20,000, even $40,000 a month on these homes. Y'all, some people make $40,000 a year, and yet our students are making it a month. That's just, I feel like the emoji, mind blown, for real. Okay. Now, you've been hearing me talk all about the national convention and our online course. And I want to share with you an amazing kind of combo deal that we really don't offer. If you go to our website right now, you're not going to see this. It's nowhere else. It is for me and you who are on tonight. And I'm only giving this because Dawn and Kendall are going to be at the national convention. And so I kind of wanted to merge the best of both worlds, get you guys educated, and then get you that incredible next step, that networking that can really help you launch your business to the next level. So I know that we've been learning online together. And so I wanted to keep that going for those of you who love to learn online. We have a training called our online home study course. It has 11 modules and 46 sections. It's a business accelerator. It really helps take you to the next level. These are all of the sections that are included, and I want to go through them just a little bit so you understand. We're covering everything: how to find the home, fund the home, fill the home. In REL 101, we're talking about the opportunities, the blueprint, and the silver tsunami. In the opportunities section, we're talking about definitions: how to own the real estate and lease it, how to own the business and operate it, how to be a private lender, and how to scale. So important. When it comes to REL real estate, you've got to know the best and worst properties, how to understand local requirements, safety requirements, what you need in the bedrooms and bathrooms, the kitchen. Are you going to renovate, remodel, do an addition, or do a ground up build? We cover it all. When it comes to locations, you've got to choose the best location. So where is it, and what locations do we avoid? What are the worst locations? And then that rating system, how to determine that in your area. When it comes to REL business, it's about the property, documents, licensing, staffing, your independent contractors versus your employees, and then an appropriate timeline so you're staying on track. What sets our training apart, because I'll be 100% honest with you guys, there's other people who train on this, but they teach you how to live in the home and work in the home. That's not what we do. I show you how to use other people's money to get an investment that will cash flow you for the rest of your life. And this funding section is what sets us apart. We're teaching you about the terms and definitions, the capital stacks, how to reposition your assets, the 5 types of lenders, and then the additional funding sources, as well as how to craft and create your own business plan to raise capital. The cash flow, we got to go through the sample expenses and then case studies, as well as the sources of income. When it comes to purchasing an REL, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's 30,000 of these homes that exist across the country today. So you may want to purchase an existing one. Well, what are the top 10 factors to consider? How do we recast the financials and expand the business? And then what are the 5 valuation methods? And then what are the pros and cons of purchasing one versus starting one? When it comes to marketing, we have got to start marketing yesterday. Okay. So it is so important that we're telling you all about how to fill your home, name your home, what you need on your website, how to have community involvement and work with advertising. All those different things are going to help you have your home filled fast. So you're not waiting all this time and then calling me and saying, what the heck, my home isn't full. We should have started yesterday. I want to show you and help you with this. Okay. Operations. We've got to build your team proper from the start, not later, not let me do the job for a little bit and then we'll build it later. Nope. From the start, how to take over a business versus start one, how to work the systems and get it set up so that your team can be hands off and you are operating passively. So important. The last section is about resources. We created the only national association that represents all 30,000 of these care homes. And we give you a free membership to that, as well as national marketing. We get your home on the map of all the 30,000 homes. So when a daughter Judy is looking for a home in your area, she's getting your information. And then discounts, group purchasing power, because being in this business for 10 years, we've had companies who come to us who say, we want to get in front of your students. We want to help them. We want to work with them. We want to give them discounts as they're going to need our products moving forward. And being a student of ours, we give you access to those. All of these sections are available to you. You guys, they're go at your own pace. You can go through as many times as you want, as many times as you need. This is lifetime access. We re-record this training every 2 to 3 years. I just finished recording the brand new one. It's going to launch before the end of the year. So for those of you who sign up tonight, not only will you get the current course, but when we launch the new one, you'll get the new one too. Each section has quizzes, transcripts, and areas for you to write me questions. I log in every single morning and answer your questions. So ask away. I'm here for you, anything that you want and need. This entire course, all of those components are available to you. Okay, so the online home study course, that is like kind of the first thing I want to offer you, the education piece. But the second piece, it is the end of July, is the RAL National Convention. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, you guys. It is happening coming up on September 7 through 9 in Phoenix, Arizona. Dawn and Kendall will be there with me. It's an amazing opportunity. Our special guest this year is Nick Stantonastasso. He is amazing Tony Robbins coach, entrepreneur, business owner, totally inspirational. I mean, no legs and one arm, and yet he's more successful than like most people that I know. You guys, he's so cool and such an inspiration. I thought he'd be the perfect speaker for our event. It's being hosted at the Sheraton Wild Horse Pass. It's a 4-star, 4-diamond resort. I think the only one out here in Arizona. We're going to have educational topics on everything surrounding assisted living. So these are those add-on topics, just like protect wealth and setting up your legal. It'll be different businesses and companies just like that. Over 30 different sponsors and over 15 different speakers. The date, September 7 through the 9. I love this event because not only are we there having fun and learning and growing and networking, and you're getting to meet all these people in the industry, but we also host an awards ceremony. So if you open your home before this event, you get to come up on stage and win an award for opening your home and joining the RAL family. We also have comedians and magicians and cigars and stars. And I mean, it is so much fun. The networking is off the chart. And if you're worried about, how are you going to raise capital and what are the different products and services you're going to need, this is that event to be at because it answers all the questions. Obviously, the home study course is an amazing program. It's typically valued at $2,497, and tickets to the national convention are $1,495. So it's a combined value of $3,992. But of course, I spoke to Dawn and Kendall, and they said we can give you guys an incredible discount tonight. So for those of you who'd like to take action, we're going to do a combination of the online home study course as well as a ticket to the national convention for $1,497. Actually, I'm going to do something a little crazy. For anybody who buys tonight, I don't want to just give you one ticket to the national convention. I think it's important if you have a partner or spouse or somebody who's going to be in this business with you that you bring them with you. So sorry, Kendall, it's not on the order form, but I'm going to do 2 tickets to the national convention with the online home study course. So if you buy tonight, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for any tickets that come in tonight. And I'm going to give you 2 tickets because I think it's really important to be there with your partner and go through this together and network together and meet these companies together. If you're ready to take the next step, Kendall will drop the link in the chat. It's protectwealth.com/opportunity. Tonight, those 2 tickets as well as the online home study course, just $1,497. I will honor this for the next 24 hours. So I will keep my eyes peeled for those of you who purchase, make sure to give you 2 tickets. I wanted to make this deal so sweet that you guys couldn't say no. I know that the online course is already awesome and it's totally worth the value, but because the time of year, we don't always have the national convention. It's an annual event. It only happens once. So I wanted to offer you this awesome discount, but I also want to give you guys a few take action bonuses for those of you who do take action in the next 24 hours. I mentioned the profitability calculator when it came to Sean and, going through the numbers, finding if a deal is good or bad, if you should stay with it, if you should go from it, if you should move forward and put in an offer or whatever the case is. I want to give you guys the profitability calculator as a little bonus tonight to get you guys started, as well as the roadmap to success, the step-by-step plan to show you how to start, own, and operate your home. I'm going to throw these both in for anybody who purchases tonight or within the next 24 hours as little bonuses for you guys tonight. So we've got the online home study course, the roadmap to success, the probability calculator, and 2 tickets to the national convention, $1,497. You guys, if one home got you to your freedom number, would $14.97 be worth it? All day. If one home got you or your loved one to live for free while you're cash flowing and give you that peace of mind that your loved one has a safe, comfortable place to be, would $14.97 be worth it? Times 10, right? Like this is crazy. And so this is seriously a really good deal. I hope that you guys do take advantage. I am so happy to stick around for any questions that you guys have. I'm so grateful that you guys spent your time with me. Time is our biggest asset. And so I just feel honored and blessed that you guys were even willing to hang out with me tonight. So thank you guys so much for being here. And I hope to see many of you at the National Convention.
Isabelle, awesome information, and thank you for that opportunity. Let's go through some questions. Number one, is senior housing more expensive or cheaper than residential homes?
Well, can we get
Are we
clarification?
talking big box or cheaper than residential homes?
Yes, anonymous attendee, give us some clarification. We'll answer it if you tell
Okay.
us.
Do the caregiver employees stay in the homes with the seniors?
Great question, Starlet. So I like shift work. Now, depending on your area, some people do live-in, but I don't like live-in because here's the thing. If I have to fire them, they're now jobless and homeless. I don't like that. So I like to only do live-in caregivers, and most of your caregivers are going to be totally fine with that. If someone does want to live in, it's up to you. It's your business. You're doing whatever you want, but I will highly suggest you do shift work.
Okay, good. You had when you got to Delaware, there was a little asterisk by that. Why was that?
I don't know, and I need to remove it. Thank you.
Okay.
Good talk about
That's pretty clear. Okay.
Delaware.
Okay. Where do you buy these assisted living senior homes?
Great
Is there a
question.
market for them?
So here's the thing. If a home is listed publicly, it's kind of a red flag because daughter Judy could be a realtor and she could find it. Like Biz Buy Sell is open to anybody, right? So you don't really want to list these publicly. They're almost all the good deals are off market deals. So you're not really going to like go find them. We do have private Facebook groups where I post deals because I get sent deals like all the time just because people know I'm in the industry. So I kind of vet the deals, and then if they're good, I share them with our students. So if you become a student, you'll get access to a lot of different deals. I'm not a broker. I don't take any piece of the pie. I just basically say, here's the info if you want more, but they're all going to be kind of off market deals. So you've got to know how to get in the right rooms and the right conversations to become aware of them.
Okay, great. We're asking, is there a replay if I joined late? Yes, this is being recorded, and this will be sent out to everyone who registered, whether you attended or not. But everyone who registered for this webinar, we're going to send that out. And it won't be on our YouTube channel, but you're welcome to share the link if you get it. So, okay. Michelle's saying, I'm sorry if you're lost. You know what? Can I say something for you here, Isabelle?
Yeah.
Every time I go down to Phoenix and stay in that hotel, I feel just so sad to have lost such a good friend. We really did. We went on Alaska cruise with students. We went on a Caribbean cruise with students. I spent a lot of time with your mom and dad, and it was it was quite a blow when we lost him. I can't imagine what your family has gone through to carry on the business of the homes that you run, as well as the training companies and everything else you do. My heart goes out to you as well. Thank you. Your dad looked so happy and handsome. He was an amazing guy. Have any of the houses failed or had to be sold for underperforming or experiences in any other issues?
Great question, Michelle, and thank you so much. So we have not had to sell any of ours. If anything, we have sold the businesses and made money on that. And now people run the businesses out of our homes. But if you go through our training and you start and open your home, and then for some reason you're failing, obviously I'm hoping that you're going to write in and call me and contact me so I can help you through that. But then let's get it performing so that you don't have to shut down or, just close it. We should be selling the business and making money on that if for any reason you want to get out of this. But for our students, really, I haven't seen very many close. I've seen some people come and say, we're having issues. And then we go through it and like, hey, your rates are low, or you're paying way too much over here. And we can kind of troubleshoot and work through those areas to help revamp what's up. And so we can help solve the problem. So I'd love to work with you in that way. And obviously, if you become a student, I'm happy to help you through everything.
And can I make a little comment on that? Because I've talked to lots and lots of your students before they purchase and even after. And the biggest mistake that I see students make is when they come in with a preconceived notion. I want this house. This is the house. This is my family's house. We're going to convert this. Well, it's in a lousy location, or it's 3 stories, or it doesn't fit. And you provide such good training, but don't come in with all these preconceived notions about how it's going to work. Come in and listen to their program, listen to their training, because they're very good. They're very experienced at what they're doing. And don't come in. It frustrates me. We're going to take this 3-bedroom, pioneer house and convert it to 16. Well, it's not going to happen. Just listen to their training. Okay. All right. Can you talk more about the real estate partner side? I have 2 single-family homes, 4 beds each, and considering this as an option. Okay, Carlos.
Yeah. So Carlos, obviously when I'm saying single family, it's hard not to think of a 3-bed, 2-bath, or in this case, a 4-bedroom home. So what's ideal is private rooms per senior. So if you have 6 seniors, then a 4-bed home might work, because it's okay to have a couple shared options, but you want as many private rooms as you can. So my homes in Arizona, I'm allowed to have 10 residents in the home. Now those homes, one's an 11-9, one's a 10-7, and one's a 9-7. So they did not start that way. We converted them to become that way. And that's what I want to show you how to do. So those homes may work if the demographics are correct. And if, we can do an addition and add some bedrooms, add some bathrooms, but they also might be a situation where we reposition the assets to buy something else.
Yeah, great. How do I contact you? I have some questions and information to discuss. Will you be able to share your contact information for further questions, or is it really, do they have to get involved with it to be able, what's your
if you have questions, I can send them to a discovery call with the team, and they can kind of help answer any questions. If that's okay. But if you want to take advantage of this deal, the guys on those calls are not going to know about this deal. So if you have any specific questions, feel free to write them in the chat too, because I'm here with you now and happy to answer anything. So definitely let us know.
And you can always call me tomorrow. I'm not Isabelle. I don't run the homes, but I'm fairly versed in what she does. And does the ticket price include lodging? So I assume we're talking national convention. No, it won't include lodging, and it won't include your airfare and your per diem and but tuition, yeah.
Tuition, and there is a room block, and it's discounted room rates. So there's only so many available. So if you are going to come, you can get one of those discounted rooms there.
Okay. Jennifer, do you have a nurse on staff 24/7?
We do not. Most states do not require a nurse. They're going to require licensed caregivers and the licensed administrator. If they do require a nurse, it may be for something specific, like passing pills or something like that, where you'll get a nurse who pretty much they go around to 10 or 15 homes a day and go and pass the pills and go to the next home and pass the pills and go to the next home and pass the pills. And you pay them just a small flat fee per day. But for most states, 90% of the states, they do not require you to have a nurse on staff.
It's residential care, but it's not It's not a hospital. It's not that level of service. And if they need that level of service, it may be time for them to move on. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does your network help find deals or just teach how to find them?
Both. We teach you how to find them. And then also, if I ever get good deals across my plate, that's what I'm posting in our private Facebook group. So I'm kind of both.
Good. I'm in California, have a horse ranch property that I was considering flipping and adding ADU with 4-2 by converting a garage. Is there a minimum room size where you can have 1 or 2 beds? What's your suggestion on that? It's a good question.
Yes, square footage wise, I highly suggest 300 to 500 square feet per resident. So with 10 residents minimum, that's a minimum of a 3,000 square foot home. Upwards of 5,000 is very comfortable. Now, like we said, people want private bedrooms, private bathrooms. So with 10 residents, I would say 7 bedrooms is kind of the lowest you want to go. Upwards of 10 is good because you're not able to get as much per resident if it's private. Shared. They're also a lot harder to fill. Like less people want them. And so you could end up having it sit empty for a while. So the more bedrooms and bathrooms, the better. 300 to 500 square feet per resident, not per bedroom, per resident.
Okay, great. Is average cost to purchase the home in level 3 or 4 the same as for a regular home or is it higher?
So there's 4 ways to get into this, LT. 1, you can buy land to build a custom home from the ground up. 2, you could buy an existing RAL. You're buying the real estate, buying the business. If you're talking about that one, then the real estate has a certain cost to it, but the business has another cost to it. So you are paying for speed. You're paying for the work somebody already did. 3, you could lease a home to use for this, or 4, you can buy a single family home to convert to become this. If you're talking about that option, then yeah, it's the regular cost of real estate in that area, but then you're going to be doing a renovation, an addition, of this, or that to make it become what you need it to become. So yes,
it might need walk-in showers, and it might need rounded corners, and it might need a bigger little space for eating and maybe revise and revamp the kitchen a little bit. So but the cost of real estate might be the same.
Yeah.
Great. Is there a turnkey RAL option?
Wouldn't that be great? No. I mean, kind of in the sense, like, are you talking about just the real estate side of it? If so, then I would say no, but leasing would be your next best bet. And there's companies like a Better Way Realty that will work with you to lease the home to you. So they'll renovate it, get it ready, and lease it to you. And then you can operate the business. But it's not like anyone will like set up the business, set up the home, and then you do it. That would be buying an existing one. So kind of, but kind of no. I don't know how to answer that.
But sometimes they're existing homes that, and generally they're if they're failing, it's because mom and dad have been doing it and they're doing it and they're just exhausted because they're not doing it right. They're trying to do everything themselves, and now a fresh look and maybe a new name and maybe just a new marketing and maybe an addition can refresh the home tremendously, but that's not really turnkey. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have to convert your home with safety sprinklers and emergency medical alerts? You do first class in your homes. I mean,
Yes.
but is that required?
It not always, but I will say this: if it's not required, do it, because that means nobody else did it. And now that's a marketing tool for you. If it is required, do it because it's required. So even though it may or may not be, it's kind of one of those things that you probably do want to do. Just keep the home as safe as possible, because you can use that in your marketing. And that puts a lot of doubt in daughter Judy's mind. If she toured 3 homes and you're the 3rd home and you're like, and we have fire suppression. And then she's thinking, oh, did the other 2 homes not? What happens if, a fire happens? And so you want to do everything you can to make sure daughter Judy feels comfortable and safe. The senior is going to be safe, so go above and beyond. That's what we're always going to suggest.
Yeah, and their homes, oh my gosh, there's communication systems throughout, and there's sprinkler systems and air filtration systems and I mean, you're saying this is first class. We deserve a little bit more money than, and you know what? And people are happy to pay it. What's the difference between RAL and adult family home?
So there's about 22 different names for assisted living across the country. Where you live, your name's anonymous attendee, so I don't know your name. So where you live, it may be called adult family home. I've heard in California, it's RCFE. It's been called board and care, personal care home, ALF. Like there's 22 different names. So why they did that, I do not know. It could be called that in your area.
Okay. How do you start a home in another state?
Okay, so you would do everything that you're going to do if it's in your state, but you would just, do it over there. I always say this: live where you want, invest where it makes sense. So you do the same research, finding out the location. Are the demographics right? How many other homes exist? What do we need to do? What are the rates? You'd put in the offer on the home. You do the renovation of the home. It's going to be more work up front because you're going to have to travel there and get it, up and running, or get someone over there who's going to be a property manager and oversee all of this. Once, you're done your hiring and your marketing, then you're going to fill the home just like you would if the home was next door to you. It's the same if the home's in Wyoming. Who cares? It's the same process.
Okay. Should the home all be single level homes?
Preferred, but it does not have to be. You can add a chairlift or an elevator if it's not.
But you consider the demographic, and you're really dealing with elderly people that might have a hard time with stairs. There's one probably a quarter mile from my house, and they have an elevator, and it fits 2 wheelchairs, and it goes up and down. And then recently they've added on a whole new section that is 6 beds up and 6 beds down, and there's a walkway in between the two. And I mean, they've just added on, and they've done what they needed to do with the space that they have. But you do have to accommodate if it's not single.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of loan program to apply for to obtain assisted living home? Do you have to come up with a large amount of money? Is your program, will it help assist in financing?
So we do teach a lot about how to not use your own money for this project. We really don't encourage that. We want you to be using private money or hard money or bank loans or SBA. SBA loves to lend on this, and we have connections with incredible SBA lenders who can help you. We also teach you how to create that business plan and your pro forma and everything you need to get in front of them. So you probably will be raising capital or getting some form of a loan to do this if you're not going to use your own money. But I encourage you to not use your own money. Use your own money for something else.
Yeah. Does always failing AL property, I'm confused on this one, because of poor management or current economic stagnation, why build if we can take over an existing one? I guess that's area specific, isn't it?
Yes, because in some areas, like our student Mark, who was out in Cincinnati, there was only 7 homes in his area when he left the training and went back to look. So there's not a lot of options. What if nobody's selling in your area? Of course, you can buy one anywhere, but you might not have anyone selling in your area. Also, you may not want to buy one of theirs, right? If it is not doing well and has poor management or whatever the case is, doesn't have a good reputation. You don't want to buy that. You want to buy something that's doing good and cash flowing and has a good reputation. So you have to be careful when you're buying something and know what to look for and what to avoid.
And in my experience, as limited as it is, location. If it's in a really lousy location and nobody wants to go there, that would be a death sentence right there. You've got to know your audience, as daughter Judy, and it's not where you happen to own a house.
Yeah.
Does a passive owner have to be licensed? Are you licensing the owner or the facility or the people, the caregivers?
So the caregiver has a license, the administrator has a license, and the physical home has a license. You, the business owner, the real estate owner, don't necessarily have a license. So no, you don't, would be the answer.
Cool. Can you share your email or phone? Yes. Okay. You call our 800 number, 800-276-1430. You know what? I'll type in my answer. 800-276-1430. That's our phone number. And I don't even know my extension. There it is. Got it. Okay. You're welcome to call me. Do you have preferred contractors or general contractor that can pick up a remodel? That's also state area specific, isn't it?
Exactly. So we do have a couple of national recommendations, like in the resources section of the online home study course. And also when you come to the national convention, you're going to meet people who nationally help with this, but you may want to find someone local in your area. So it's just up to you, but we do have resources for you in a lot of different sectors, and contractors is one of them.
Isabelle, I'm impressed with the questions, but we still have a lot open. Are you okay on time?
I'm good. I'm
okay.
good.
I think we answered Dwayne's question about does the business have to be licensed? Okay.
We're good on that. Yeah.
Are there any SPL regulations or checks that the government or any associated imposes? That's state specific, isn't it?
Yeah. And what's SPL?
I don't know.
Sumana, can you let us know what SPL is?
But your
special.
licenses.
Special. Are there any special regulations and checks that the
There
government
we go.
or any association imposes? Okay. So, well, yeah, every state and county has specific rules that you have to abide by. So for example, the distance rule, everyone has a distance rule, but in my county, it might be your home has to be 300 yards, bird's eye view, far away from another assisted living home. And in your county, it has to be a mile, measurement from the end of my property to yours. So it's the same rule, a distance rule, but it changes based on where we all live. So there are kind of national standards, and then there's specific to your area standards, but there's a lot of regulations, which is why we train on this, because it's not something that you can just jump into and not really know what you're doing. So definitely.
And thus the need for licensing. That's exactly why. Current home market is exploding in South Florida. That is true. What other areas of the country? Certainly wherever the Sun Belt is, Arizona, certainly Texas. What else are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I always kind of joke, but I mean it. I'm like, raise your hand if you're getting older or know someone who is. Right? Like, just because you turn 85 doesn't mean you're moving to Florida or Arizona. You probably move there when you're 65, right? Not 85. And so there's a lot of people who grew up in South Carolina, Charleston, who are never leaving, right? Or Boston, Massachusetts, and they're never leaving. So I would say, do see where people are moving, because where daughter Judy's moving is important. Where she's moving, when people moved, right, when we saw this massive exodus out of the coastal states in and down during COVID time, when people moved, businesses moved, which means money moved. So that's so important. So you're right on the money, Dawn. Like Florida, even Georgia, Tennessee, Arizona, Texas, Utah, all those states are like lit up when we're talking about people migrating to them. And so there's a lot of opportunity everywhere.
But if mom's 5 kids all live in Kalamazoo, they're going to want to put her in a home in Kalamazoo. They're not going to move mom to Texas because, I don't know, no state taxes. I don't know, but okay. Where to buy assisted living homes? How much do they cost? Well, it's really a tough. It's a unique market. I don't know.
Yes. So I hate to say this, but the valuation is typically 2 to 5 times that net income to some degree. And then where you're going to find them is, off-market deals. So we're going to show you how to value them, show you how to approach those people, and how to find those deals in that online course. So I know you've been asking a lot of questions, anonymous attendee. I better see you in the course. I think you're asking all the right questions. You are interested, I can tell.
How do you articulate the edge RAL has over large senior living facilities? Oh, your big box stores as opposed to a house with 10 residents that all get to know each other. What's the benefit?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier that resident to caregiver ratio, and to me, that's the cherry on top. I mean, 20-1 and 4-1, you can't beat that when you're paying the same. The quality of care, I mean, we've heard, and Dawn, you've heard at our events, these horror stories of seniors being double diapered, being left for 8 hours. They've fallen and they've had to army crawl to go push their, come help me button. It's traumatic, the stories we hear when we talk to people who have loved ones in those big boxes. And so I'm not saying everyone is bad, 80-20 rule, right? But there's a lot of neglect happening in those homes. And it's because they're not set up properly to be able to give the seniors the type of care that they really need in this, phase of life. So it's so important.
And I would go even further. I would say that most of the nurses, the doctors, the medical professionals that I've met at your conference, almost always the reason they're getting into it is because of the abuses that they've seen in the big box stores. I do not want to do that. I don't want mom to go through this. I'm not terrified, but I'm humiliated to be part of this organization. And we've got to do better for taking care of seniors. I see that as a huge difference. And when you can do this all in one house and the people get to know each other and they're living in a home, they're not living in their sense of self-worth goes up tremendously. You didn't put them away. You put them in a care facility. The people, like care. Anyway, Michelle, with some major cities facing empty housing buildings in downtown areas, was there ever been someone who set up in the middle of Manhattan? I don't.
We say residential assisted living for a reason. These are suburban homes and suburban settings. So I'm going to say, no, none of our students have done that. We have had a couple students who do open larger facilities or homes, maybe 24 beds or a bunch of, we had one guy in Louisiana who built an entire cul-de-sac of a bunch of 8-bed homes. And he has, I want to say 48 beds there. So he's got a bunch of homes with 8 beds each, and it's like shared staff. And so there's some creative things you can do, but we focus on residential, zoned residential, R1, R2. But you never know. People are creative.
Isabelle, I've got a daughter who lives in downtown San Francisco, and we try to get out to see her every couple months or a couple times a year. And Target is left, and Walmart is left, and Hilton is left, and Marriott is left, and there's no conventions in downtown. I would probably say that wouldn't be a place I would want to build my RAL home. Let's say that. Would you recommend having a licensed direct care staff? Michigan doesn't require it.
So it just depends on exactly what your staff requires, Jennifer. If they're not requiring caregivers or administrators, I don't know what licensed direct care staff necessarily means. Are you saying like caregivers? They don't require caregivers. Most states, it's actually shocking, you guys. It's kind of the wild, wild west in this industry. Whatever your state says, I don't really care. We teach a much higher standard. So your state will say you get to choose the ratio, whatever you think is appropriate. So that's how the big boxes get away with that 30-1 ratio, is because there is no rule on what it has to be. So if your state doesn't require caregivers or an administrator, you should still have it, because that is what these seniors need. They need someone to help them get out of bed and walk to the bedroom and feed them and bathe them and do all this stuff. So no matter what your state requires, we're going to be teaching you above and beyond standards. So if you do ours, you're going to knock your state standards out of the park. Like your licensing process is like boom, 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 because you are above and beyond what these people are used to seeing.
And that can give you a tremendous marketing edge when it goes to filling your house.
Yes.
Do you have a discount for those who can't attend the convention?
That question and Dominic's question right underneath, he said, can I only sign up for the convention? So you two should just get together. No, I'm just joking. But, but if you want just the online home study course or just tickets to the convention, we can work something out. I do want everyone to get what they want and what they need. So can they just email Kendall or you after this and we'll get that sorted out? I'm going to have to find special links for you guys to get you special discounts, but I do want to make sure that you get what you need. While you're responding, I'll answer them.
There's my email
Okay.
to everyone, and here's Kendall's as well.
So Dominic and Leakin, make sure you just let us know and we will get it sorted for you guys. And anybody else who just wants one or the other as well.
Great. How can I get a site review to determine the appropriate level? My home is located in Hemet. Oh, we love Hemet. We lived over the hill from you in Redlands for years and years. Hemet is an up and growing community. Huge. It's near Temecula, between that and Riverside, and it's a great area, Isabelle. And I 40 years ago, I wouldn't have ever wanted to live in Hemet, but it's a great little community. Can they get a site review anywhere? Do you do that, or do you just teach them how to everything that they need to know?
Exactly. So we're just going to teach you, Ernest, exactly what you need to know. So you'll be able to, everything you'll learn at the course, you're going to be like, oh, it's not a fit, or, oh, that's perfect. It's ticking all the boxes. And then that way, when you're going to look for another home or the next one, you know exactly what to look for. I don't want to do anything for you guys. I want to show you how to fish for a lifetime so you can eat for the rest of your lives. If I do it all for you, you don't actually learn. And so I want to show you how to do this. So I'm sure you could pay someone, I don't know who, to go do that, but I think it's better just learn yourself so you can repeat it over and over.
And yes, we are recording this, and you'll receive a link to that tomorrow. And we're happy to do that. Anyone who registered, we'll send that out to you, unless your name is an anonymous attendee, and then you're buying
tonight, anonymous attendee.
Can you say something about the license to be administrator? It depends on your state.
Yeah, it depends, Michael. And I mean, that's not what we teach you how to do. I'm not teaching you how to be the administrator. But every state's a little bit different. Sometimes it requires a GED and to be 18 years old and to take a 4-hour course. Sometimes it requires to be 21 with a bachelor's and take a 60-hour course. It varies greatly depending on where you live. But this is not a job that you should be doing even in the beginning. Let me just do it and then I'll turn hands off. No. I want to show you how to do it right from the beginning so you don't have to do that.
All right. I think Jennifer's is not a question. Can
Yes,
a rural area work?
You know, it could potentially, it just depends on the demographics and the demand and the density. Like when we talked about location, those are the key things you're looking for. So does it have the population to be able to support what you need to fill your home? So it just depends. And when you go through and you kind of learn all those things, then you'll be able to look at areas and be like, this could work, this doesn't work, or let me search this specific thing to know if it works or not. So great
How
question.
much competition you have, all of those things factor in.
Yes.
Will the materials be customized statewide?
We are teaching national standards, Jem, but in the training, you do get all the state-by-state rules and regulations so that, after the course, you get a ton of documents so that you can kind of go through and see exactly where to find your state rules and regs. I mean, we tell you, but then we also do give it to you so that you can go find that. But no, we don't break it down state by state. That would be like a 1,000,000-hour course. It's, only 11 hours. So
but
maybe next year. Students,
this is a class that we absolutely Protect Wealth, we absolutely stand behind this. I've been through enough of their trainings to know that it's that good. If you have any interest at all in this, this is a pittance to what you would get if you went out and tried it on your own. Just don't do that. When you're dealing, and Isabelle was right, and I look at the protect yourself, point of view. And when Gene first came to me on this and said, I want you to come down, and I'm thinking, okay, you've got employees and you got elderly people and slips and falls and administering medicines, and there's no way. But I found that this is much, much, much safer than I'd ever imagined, because it just is. It's where's the link? It's protectwealth.com/opportunity. It was in your chat screen right at the top. So click on that link, sign up. This is something that it's something that we believe in. I've seen enough people go through the training and become successful that we love it. We endorse it. We love Isabelle's group, and she's got some tremendous trainers. We love what you do. Isabelle, any closing thoughts before we leave you tonight?
I always like to say, if this has been speaking to you, if this is something that's really been hitting your heart, or, it's feeling good, it's feeling right to you, then take action. We are truly about doing good and doing well. I want to work with people whose hearts is in the right place. Like I said before, there's a million ways to make money, but this is an opportunity to do good and do well. So if it's calling to you, take action. I can't wait to chat with you in the online course and meet you guys at the national convention. Thank you so much for listening to me, and do good and do well.
Isabelle, we will see you in September. I'm looking
Sounds
forward
good.
to it.
We'll see you then.
Thank you, darling. Sign up now. This is again, protectwealth.com/opportunity. Click the link. It'd be a great opportunity for you. Thank you, Isabelle.
Thanks.
Have
Bye.
a great night, everyone. Thank you for being on. Good night.